Hello and welcome to our new podcast, Connected World. My name is Jelena Žarković, and today I will be your host, diving deep into the heart of digital transformation in Connected World. So every month we explore new technologies and innovation, starting from AI to blockchain, cybersecurity, and beyond. And whether you are a tech enthusiast or just curious about digital transformation, join us in our journey. And today with me is Russell Herbert, Director of Digital Innovation in ITI Group. Welcome, Russell.
Hello, Jelena. Delighted to be here.
Pleasure to have you here today. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Long drive up from home for this, but really looking forward to our conversation.
Yeah. Thank you for doing that today.
My pleasure.
And so you're new in IT, relatively new in ITI Group, and our audience may know you from Aviva, right? Yeah. And so basically, something to start with, like with your, rich background in oil and gas and data management and also PI systems. Yeah. So can you start with brief introduction and maybe just share a couple of things from your digital transformation journey?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So as you say, I'm new to ITI Group as an employee, but I've known the company for many years, and I've been working alongside them, working with people from ITI Group, seeing the work they're doing, being very impressed for many years. For the last 8 years, most of your audience, or maybe some of your audience, will know me from working within a company called OCSoft, and then following that Aviva, once Aviva acquired OCSoft. So a lot of that work has involved working with our PI customers. So OCSoft were the creators of a piece of industrial software. It's very well used across the industrial world, not just in oil and gas, but in all industries, called PI. And my role in the company was that of industry principal for oil and gas. So that meant I've spent a lot of time working with our oil and gas customers, talking to them about what they're doing with technology like PI, what their aspirations for doing new things are, how they're looking to integrate new, more emerging, let's say, technology themes and topics that people are interested in. Artificial intelligence, digital twin, predictive analytics, that kind of stuff. So really immersed with the entire world, the entire customer base of PI customers working in oil and gas, using this technology, trying to get more out of it, understanding what they can do, helping them to do more. So I left Aviva in November last year with a real clear in my mind of what I wanted to do next and where I wanted to go, and where I wanted to come was ITI, a company that I have seen and worked with, as I say, and admired for a long time. Real specialists in not just the work that their real kind of, I think, industry-leading technical teams do around the PI system, but also in other areas of digital transformation. So, they have broad capabilities in automation, in process control, in cybersecurity, simulation, so many areas. But joined here in March. Everyone is super nice. We've got loads of exciting ideas of what we're going to do, how we can, increasingly engage our customers, help them get more value from all this digital technology, maybe kind of unravel some of the let's say some of the confusing messages and stuff that goes around in this industry, and ultimately help them get more value from the kind of technology we work with.
You just mentioned that you have a clear vision and with what your journey in ITI is supposed to look like. So can you share that vision with our audience, please?
Great question, because I think possibly a lot of people listening to this podcast who may have come across me in the past will have that question in mind. What's Russell going to be doing with the ITI Group? So I think when I started talking to the leadership team in ITI, I think we both quickly came to the conclusion we had a very shared vision of what the opportunities were around industrial software. I think the role of a system integrator, a specialist technical company that can help customers implement software, get the most value for it, is growing. There's no doubt about that. I think the complexities of this technology is growing. What customers want to do with this technology is growing. I think if you and I were having this conversation 5-10 years ago, it would be a much simpler story. A lot of our customers at that point, or people using technology like Pi, would be, connecting it to their plants, their oil platforms, their refineries, their wind turbines, collecting data and kind of largely visualizing data and making decisions on what they were seeing. I think now we're things have changed a lot in those 10 years, and now we are in a world where there's far more tools and integration around this kind of technology. People not only just want to collect stuff, they want to analyze things, they want predictions done, they want that data integrated, they want more advanced workflows and use of this system. They want data to drive simulations, they want real-time insights, and and there are many reasons why they do that. So things have got far more complicated. So that means that customers need more help, more support, people that they can trust, that will listen to them, that will understand their business, will understand what they're trying to do, and that can almost, in some ways, act as a buffer between them and the software vendors who, are doing a fantastic job, but I guess have their own, let's say, priorities and objectives around their own products. The role of a system integrator is to look across the market more broadly and say, and there's good stuff all over the place, and very few customers probably have a technology stack that comes entirely from one vendor. What we actually typically see is customers who've got lots of different bits of technology from lots of different companies. So having a neutral, really advanced system integrator that has tons of experience that can help them navigate that and weave it all together in a way that's truly going to deliver value is really important. And so for me, my heart was always going to be moving in the direction of a system integrator. And, there's no doubt, having worked with all the system integrators, all the organizations in the field across the globe, but largely in my role previously in EMEA and APAC, ITI are absolutely at the top of their game. And it was, for me, living in the UK, it was a no-brainer. They were exactly who I wanted to come and work for. So, so my role here is to, very similar to kind of the stuff I was doing at OCSoft and Aviva. It's a lot of working with sales, a lot of working with marketing. I'm not directly in sales myself, which I think is important for my role, but it's to help elevate the conversation. It's to work with the sales teams here in ITI, the product development teams, the innovation teams, to look at what are the opportunities in the market, what are the opportunities for our customers to do more with this technology, to understand what they can do, to help them explore ideas that they may have, but not be entirely clear in how to, again, bring this all together to achieve their results. So it's the role is still developing, but it's a lot about that. It's about helping the engagement, helping elevate the conversation, and there's a lot of that going on in ITI generally at the moment. I think there's a lot of realization that the company can deliver a huge amount of value, even over and above the massive amounts of value they've been delivering for many years into the industrial world through all their work with their industrial customers, the North Sea operators, industrial players in the UK. There's even more value that the company can deliver. So there's a lot of new roles, a lot of new capabilities, and a lot of new teams that are coming to life within ITI to do exactly that, to move us forward again, so that we further hopefully stand out in this marketplace as the real leader where it comes to industrial data, industrial information management, industrial software, anything we want to do in this field.
Yeah. So I couldn't not to notice something you mentioned during our conversation, and it was about different vendors of the market offering really different solution.
Yeah.
It's really rich market at the moment, right?
Absolutely.
And it seems like all those vendors and different shiny softwares are maybe trying to push back Pi just and fully to historian. And I actually want to hear your opinion on that. And what's your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I guess probably, again, if people are listening to this who know me, they've probably been hearing me bleating on about this kind of stuff for the last 8 years. So I think it's a great question, Elena, and there's no doubt that over the, let's say over the last 7 or 8 years, you're right. A lot of new players have come into the industrial software market that weren't there before. I think everyone is recognizing there is a huge amount of opportunity to make money, to deliver software. There's a lot of AI companies, a lot of digital twin type companies, etc., that are coming out with solutions in the marketplace. Offering what they want to do, and I think it has been during that time the industry has almost been on a journey with kind of how it thinks about sort of technology like Pi that's been around for a long time. And I think when a lot of the AI tools and other bits and pieces first started to really be prevalent in the market, I think it was easy for a lot of these companies to position the more legacy historian technology like Pi as very much just a source of data. Let us connect to this. Yes, we know all your data will be in a system like Pi. We connect to that and leave it up to us. But I think the industry soon realized that actually that was a mistake, and that in many ways although not easy, in many ways the predictions, the data correlations, this kind of stuff is relatively simple for these AI tools. A lot of them are running on very similar mathematical models, etc., running in the background, and actually the success of a lot of these tools doesn't necessarily come from the predictive technology within them. It comes from the quality of data you feed them with. It comes from being able to make sure that the data is focused on specific problems or specific things that these tools need to analyze, that it doesn't include things that is not relevant, that it has context, there's meaning in the data. And so that if you provide these tools with this kind of information, they do a much better job and they deliver a lot more value. And if you don't do that, then the industry soon learns that you end up with huge collections of data in the cloud or somewhere that actually is very difficult to get a lot of value from. And so that all lends us to a conclusion that says, actually, industrial information management is far more important than we thought it was. And technology like Pi, which is very much the leader when it comes to industrial time series data, is more critical as a product than it ever has been before. And just as a way of highlighting this, 6 or 7 years ago, I did a presentation in OCSoft talking about industrial information management. We might get 50 people dial in. 2 years ago, on the same subject, we would get 800-900 people dial in, and that's not because I'm so fascinating and everyone realizes that it's because there's a lot more interest in the market. There's a lot more recognition that this is a critical part. And if we look at our industrial customers, companies like BP and Shell and Eni, large industrial experts in using data and that, very much all these companies are putting a lot more focus on how we not just collect the data, but how we manage it, how we make it accessible and meaningful across our organization, how we integrate that, etc. And all of those things is what technology like the Pi system does. So it's more critical. If you are a company, an industrial company that wants to do things with real-time data, that wants to digitally transform, investing in a very robust, clear strategy on how you manage and do things with your industrial real-time data is critical. And Pi is a critical piece in that. And yeah, I'm slightly biased, but I think ITI are absolutely the company to help you with that.
Yeah, that's good. You actually mentioned that people are more keen now and more engaged.
Yeah.
But in the same time, it's not always easy to keep customer or anyone who is using some software, let's say using Pi for a while, to be really up to date with the system and how you're achieving that.
It's hard because you're right. A lot of this technology has been around for a long time. We've got industrial operators in the North Sea that have been using Pi for more than 20 years. And so you've got a lot of people who, let's say, know what they know. They're used to using this technology in a certain way, and this is the way that they've used it for a long time, and it's delivered a lot of value for them like this, And, I think there is an appetite for change now. For a while there was a lot of resistance to change, but I think now, industrial operators, people in the field, engineers, technicians are recognizing that, advanced digital technology is critical. Analytics, real-time surveillance, all these kind of things are critical. So people want to do more. So it's no longer a case of persuading them, this is a good idea. Everyone gets this is a good idea. But you're right. It's things are moving so fast. There are, as we were talking about earlier, there's a lot of new vendors, a lot of new technology. There's a lot of conflicting messages. There's a lot of let's say perspectives in the market. And I think part of the role that a company like ITI can play is to help. Let's say bring some clarity to some of this, or at least bring a very neutral perspective that can, take a very informed view of all the different pieces and the pros and cons of different bits and how the different pieces may or may not work together really well. And we can help, inform and guide our customers, our potential customers, in these areas. But a lot of it is just conversation. I'm a real supporter of spending time with customers face to face, listening, really understanding. A massive part of this is to be able to, bring to the table industrial expertise where you can really understand what the customer is trying to achieve. It's not good enough just to be able to talk technology. You need to be able to say, I understand how your role works, what you're trying to do works. I understand the problems you have in the field, the challenges you face, the environments you work in, the kind of tools, the pressures you're under, how your day-to-day activities may work. And so if we can understand that, we can, I think, bring a much more, let's say, a much more useful perspective to the customer on what they're trying to achieve, in a way that's going to make sense to them and be appropriate to them in their environment. So many, we're not just talking about oil and gas, but if we do look at oil and gas, the North Sea is a hostile environment. There's a lot of pressures day to day, minute by minute on working in that kind of environment. We really need to understand those kind of challenges to be able to help our customers as well as they deserve. Over and above the kind of advice, as I say, I've been talking about for a long time, which is, don't just focus on the shiny bits at the end. Everyone's very interested in the 3D models and the sexy advanced analytics piece of it. But, equally important is the foundational pieces. You wouldn't build a house without getting your foundations right. And you really shouldn't be, diving too much into a full digital transformation without also thinking a little bit about your foundations. Make sure you're thinking about this, because there's a huge amount of value that can be, achieved in this space. Really understand what you're trying to achieve, but just get started. We've talked to many customers over many years, and time again, the customer says, look, I kind of know what I want to do, but I'm struggling to know where to start or whatever. And so many times what we hear is that just by doing something, you learn so much that you can then use that to grow. Very, very few customers that we ever meet know exactly what they want to build on day one and just build it. A lot of customers, they say, okay, maybe I've got a particular problem here. Maybe my seawater injection is a problem, or maybe my rotating equipment or something like that. Just start and do something, just monitor it. And then next week, once you've done that, start with the next bit, make it better and make it better. And you'll learn so much. You'll learn that this stuff is not as daunting or as challenging as you think. You'll be able to do a lot of it yourself, and there'll be bits that you'll need specialist, assistance with. And there are companies out there that will help you with this, but we're always interested to talk. We're always interested to discuss ideas, bring our own perspective if that's what you'd like, share our experience. But biggest lesson of all, I think, is or advice is just start with something, and don't worry about making mistakes, because everyone makes mistakes. I used to, every time I used to go to a customer when I was with an OC Software and Aviva, pretty much every customer used to say the same thing, which is, oh, we're really sorry, we're miles behind everyone. And, and the truth is, everybody is pretty much at the same point. Everyone's got successes and everyone is still learning a lot. And there's still a massive amount of opportunity and value in the world of industrial software that, certainly I'm passionate about trying to help our customers get as much benefits as they can from all this technology.